Hello, I am Dr. Mariah Starr, and today we are going to talk about what it means to be a social entrepreneur. Yesterday, we talked about what it means in terms of the triple bottom line. The triple bottom line. It includes first, financial profit, then helping the environment, and finally, social justice. So how is a social entrepreneur different from a regular entrepreneur? Well, a regular entrepreneur has one goal in mind, and that is profit, financial profit. And profit can be obtained in a very simple way. You take revenues and you subtract overhead or cost, and that produces the bottom line, profit, as long as your revenues exceed your overhead. So every single entrepreneur has a balance sheet of credit and debit, plus and minus. And on this balance sheet, you want to make sure that the credits are greater than the debits. You want to make more money than you spend. Now, this is fairly easy for a regular entrepreneur to do. A regular entrepreneur creates a business, provides a product or a service, and charges for that product or service. And as long as the cost is smaller than revenue, it doesn't really matter what you are selling. You can be in business. You make a profit. So a regular entrepreneur doesn't care about the exact product or service. The regular entrepreneur does not care about the market. The regular entrepreneur will try to find any market for any product and service. The regular entrepreneur is generic. Whatever will sell, the entrepreneur will provide. So this could be food, drink, housing, clothes, staples. It could also be sex, drugs, music. If it will make money, the entrepreneur will provide it. For bigger items like real estate or perhaps pharmaceutical drugs, they require a bigger investment. And so a regular entrepreneur will get into a market only if he's promised big profits. And so a regular entrepreneur will look for big investors to provide seed capital. A regular entrepreneur will speculate. A regular entrepreneur will try to predict what people will want, what the market will buy. The regular entrepreneur will either meet demand in the present or create demand for the future. If you are meeting demand in the present, you can buy a pizza store. You could buy a dry cleaning business. You could start a tutoring service. You could sell books. All of these kinds of services meet demand. If, in contrast, you create demand in the future, you could create invention that people will want, such as the iPad or the iPhone. If you are creating demand for products, then you have to make sure that people will want them. So how is a social entrepreneur different? A social entrepreneur also wants to make a profit, but a social entrepreneur cares about the service and the product being humane, as in they improve people. They aren't just products or services to help people survive. They are products and services that help people to evolve, to change their lives in a better way. So what kind of products and services do that? Well, how about housing for the homeless? It's real estate, but you're trying to find a way for homeless people to have homes. How about books for the illiterate? Whether the illiterate are adults or children. You are providing a market, but you're helping people to read, not just to enjoy books. So for the social entrepreneur, the problem comes first. Profit comes second. For the regular entrepreneur, profit comes first, and they may not even respond to a problem. So a regular entrepreneur is fundamentally different than a social entrepreneur. So you can create a division here. a regular entrepreneur tries to make profit usually in about 5 years. And a regular entrepreneur creates a business plan, seeks out investors, and tries to get enough seed capital to make that profit in 5 years. They have debt and they have equity. And their objective is to make sure the equity pays off the debt. A social entrepreneur also wants to make profit, but their time scale is different. A social entrepreneur might make profit in 20 years, not 5. And since the profit comes so much later, they cannot have long-term debt. They instead need some kind of financial support. Maybe grants, donations, or some kind of earned income. That's how a social entrepreneur survives. So this requires a long-term commitment. You cannot just be in business for 5 years. You have to be looking to solve social problems over a generation, 20 years. So how does a social entrepreneur get started? Well, think of the difference between a regular entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur. A regular entrepreneur starts off with seed money. Hires employees, and goes into business. A social entrepreneur recruits volunteers. And the money comes in the form of donations and grants, all to provide services. These services might not really form a business. They might be just helping people. And this help might be rewarded in various ways. But what the social entrepreneur wants is to have some way of keeping costs down, ideally at 0. After all, if you have volunteers, you don't have to pay them. So a regular entrepreneur merely needs a business plan Next come investors. And next come the business. And the business produces profit for both the entrepreneur and the investors. A social entrepreneur also has a business plan but the business plan supports a vision. The vision is most important in this case. The vision comes first. The vision attracts followers, believers. In a sense, it's like recruiting people to a religious faith. Once you find the followers, to match the vision, you get volunteer, and that provides the service. So it's a different sequence of events. The regular entrepreneur only needs financial capital. Because that is the lifeblood of the business. You need money to pay the employees, you need money to buy office equipment, you need money to pay for the services. In contrast, a social entrepreneur uses financial, social, and intellectual capital, all simultaneously. So this is how a social entrepreneur typically starts. You see a problem. You want to fix the problem. You start volunteering yourself to fix that problem. As you volunteer, you get a vision for how the world would look if this problem were gone. You put this vision down on paper. You write a business plan around it. You start to tell everyone you know, your friends, your family. You turn the vision, this is the intellectual capital, into social support among your friends and family. You get people to be passionate about your vision because you are passionate about your vision. And that becomes your social capital. And once enough people are passionate about your vision, you get the donations and the grant money coming in. That becomes your financial capital. If there is no problem, there's no reason for the passion. Ordinary entrepreneurs don't see problems. In fact, when ordinary entrepreneurs succeed and make a profit, they often cause problems as corporations. A social entrepreneur sees a problem, AIDS, drug killings, overdoses, you name it, and starts helping to fix the problem. And it's by sharing that vision of the solution with everyone that the social entrepreneur builds support for solving the vision. So, a social entrepreneur needs to recruit volunteers for the vision. An ordinary entrepreneur hires people. You put out an ad in a newspaper and you say, I'm hiring for a business that I'm starting. A regular entrepreneur simply expects people to come for the money. A social entrepreneur recruits volunteers, and he or she is the first volunteer. The social entrepreneur leads by example. He or she goes to the problem, starts providing a solution and inspires everyone he or she knows to chip in and become a volunteer as well. Whether it's going to soup kitchen or feeding homeless dogs, whatever the problem is, he or she is the first to volunteer. This is where you have what's called the law of attraction. The law of attraction. When you volunteer and people see you volunteering, everyone you know wants to do the same thing. You lead by example. You send out, in spiritual terms, a light. People see that light. And if you are in the midst of a very difficult situation of poverty, homelessness, drugs, and death, that light will shine very brightly. And it's that light that people will see. You volunteering to fix a problem will attract people from around your neighborhood and then around the country if you do it right. So when you get the volunteers coming to you, when you have many volunteers, when you have hundreds or thousands or even millions of volunteers coming to you to help, that's where you have to get business skills, just like any ordinary entrepreneur. You have to manage. You have to have some kind of bureaucracy. You want to make sure that the people who come to volunteer for your cause actually make a difference. They want to know that their volunteering matters. And so it's at this point that you have to become organized. That you have to make sure that you have the ability to match the volunteers with the need. So on the next video, I will talk about examples of social entrepreneurs who have done this. They include people like Muhammad Yunus. He started the Grameen Bank. We will be talking about his example and many others. Thank you.